Relevant Thoughts blog is here. I'm your guy, Lewis to the T. I started out saying, all right, because I was about to jump right in. I didn't tell you who I am, what's going on, none of that. And I always try to start off by saying relevant thoughts, especially if I don't have on one of the t-shirts I have on like I do today. So you can know where this came from, just in case it was forwarded or copied or retweeted or, reposted, whatever you want to call it. Retweet, man, telling my age right there. So today's topic is kind of twofold. I think it's one subject, but it has two different aspects to it. I started off thinking while shaving that I wonder how many people seek out information about themselves to help them become a better person. Like how many people intentionally seek out, feedback about who they are, um, so that they can improve as a human being. And then the other thing I was thinking about that kind of layers on top of that subject is, do you think or do you understand that you can learn anything from anywhere or anybody? And I think that the two subjects or the two topics up under the umbrella of this subject of learning, I think they layer because as I was thinking about the idea of intentionally seeking feedback about who you are, in effort to become a better person, one of the things that came up for me is that most people do not want to seek feedback from people who they've had a bad experience with or people who have a negative opinion of them. And that made me think about the concept of, do you understand or realize that you can learn anything from anybody, almost anywhere in any situation? And and I remember learning that. I learned that actually in my process of becoming an alpha. I remember having a brother tell me that the author of a poem that we were studying was his exact words were he was a raving racist lunatic. Those are his exact words, and I can remember vividly exactly who told me that. Um, and he said, however, this is brilliant work and you're going to learn much from it and it will serve you for the rest of your life. I remember him saying that. He is just a really philosophical brother, really intelligent, but also could be, quite humorous in his own way, that dry humor that has you cracking up. And he's kind of looking at you like, yeah, it's a little bit funny, but I'm serious. And he taught me that, and I remembered that. That's, almost 27 years ago now, that he said, always remember you can learn anything from anyone. This, raving racist lunatic, I can't say that enough, created this poem that will serve you for the rest of your life because the insight still is valid. And as it pertains to seeking information or feedback to self-improve, we can't just rely on the people who love us and like us, right? There's a lot of people who love us and like us. Hopefully, the vast majority of the people in your life, they love you and they like you. That's one of the reasons why they're still there, because you don't want to walk around in the midst of a bunch of people who don't like you, who wants to do that. But, they have the ability to only teach us but so much. I think the people who have either had a bad experience or who don't hold you in the highest regard, or who's had some level of conflict with you, whether it's philosophically, relationally, just having opposing points of view, and they just kind of look at you a little bit different. Maybe they don't dislike you, but you aren't necessarily the apple of their eye like you are for most people. I think there's something that can be learned there. I think that the tension between people who really like us and people who either don't like us or we're just kind of we're just kind of oh, he's gonna be there, cool, that's fine. People who kind of feel that way, they can really teach us something, especially if they are willing to share the experience that has shaped that point of view. So I really do challenge us to number one, intentionally seek out feedback and information from people who care about you and love you, because that's valid as well. If people really love you and care about you, people who like you, they'll tell you. And I know in my life they do. They will tell me when I'm wrong. They will tell me when we have opposing points of view and why. They will tell me not necessarily that I'm wrong, but sometimes there's just another way of thinking about it, and I have to broaden my perspective to be able to receive and accept that my way isn't the only way. So there's not value from people who love and like you, but there is much to be gained from people whose experience is not amazing with you. And the thought process does center around being able to receive from any area. I tell people all the time, you can receive something from anybody. There's a person right now that most of us can't stand. And I'm sure there's still something in the way in which he is interacting with the world that can teach us something. And I'm open to that. And I'm willing to experience and explore and learn from that in order to be a better person. So I'm curious and interested in hearing what you have to say about it. How do you feel about that? Do you think that you can learn from anybody, and do you seek out information and ways to be a better person from any source? Let me know your thoughts. Share.